The blind device here is my Flashtail Gurgler is what we call it. It's just a gurgler as such. Foam is folded at the back rather than at the front, which seems to help it slide and push water very well. And it's a very simple pattern, but it's been really effective all through this September. It's probably been our top top water pattern. So all you have is a tiny bit of bucktail, some silver flash, or you can use pearl if you want, over the back, tied quite long and supported by the bucktail so that there's nice movement in it. Obviously fish must think it's a sandeel or something fleeing, escaping. It's a dubbed body, but you could use cactus chenille or other similar materials. I like dubbed bodies because if you want, you can trim them a bit if you want to change the shape, you know. Yeah. So they say dubbed body, it's just a bit of dubbing I mixed up myself. You can use any kind of saltwater, pearlescent or silver or grey dubbing really, and it's just some foam on the back, so literally thread, bucktail, flash, dubbing foam, not many ingredients if you like. So this one, as I say, it's been working really well, so I would definitely say give this one a try. This is an NS122 light stinger hook by RX, saltwater hook, and it's a size 6. You can tie them bigger or smaller. So I'm just going to start off. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of super glue to the shank here. You don't have to do that, but I just find it helps. This thread is a Vivus 200 denier in a sort of a creamy tan colour. It just helped that to grip at the start so it doesn't slide all over the place, like so. Just run that down to the line with the barb of the hook. Grab my scissors, strip that off, and that'll be setting away that glue there now. So I'm going to take a piece of white bucktail. I'm going to take a piece from low down because it'll flare a bit more, and I'm just going to cut that off, cut it in close to the hide, and just taper a little bit if there's anything and then just remove any very short bits that would just be in the way. They're left with something like that. So we're going to go with about the length of the hook, not much longer. This. Okay, I've cut that at a slight angle because that helps kick it up. Trap it down. So, and just take some flash. I'm going to go with silver flash. I want a pretty long bit of silver flash. No hackles, nothing, just flash over the bucktail, and you want it about twice the length, 1.5 to twice the length of the bucktail there. And just catch that in. Now I'm just going to trap that down. Like so. Just keep it on top as much as you can. Doesn't really matter yet because you'll be able to keep it on top on the way back down anyway. And trap it back down like this. That's just giving you a little bit of shape to your body, and it's definitely locking in that flash. And I've just been lucky. Let's move this, you can see just a long flash tail. Okay, just wet it there. And the idea is, if I just move that spring out of the way for a second, it's supporting that. I want it to drop down a little bit in the water when I stop retrieving the gurgler, but I want this part of it to be supported. Okay, it's up to you. You can go a bit shorter, but it's been really working well for me this September, so I'm not going to change. a fly that's working that well. Just a little bit of stuff there. Next, the foam. Now normally what you'll see with a lot of Gurglers is the foam will be tied in here and then folded back like this at the end, and that works fine. Just make it a bit longer so you can kind of see, so you get this sort of effect. It'll be sitting up like that and it moves. I'm tying this one in a little bit differently. I suppose the proof is in the pudding, and this is really been doing the business for me, and that's why. So what I've done is I've tapered it here. It's about the width of my little finger, and I've tapered it down to considerably a little bit thinner. Okay, so it's a couple of mil there, probably maybe just 10 or 12 mil. You want it pretty wide over the top, and I'm folding it over this way. Okay, now if this is too long, obviously you need it twice the length of the hook. If this is too long and it's sticking out there, don't worry, because you can trim it. Okay, so you're just measuring, this part is out over the eye, the wide end, and you want it again out about, from the tip of the eye of the hook, you're probably coming out at least 5 mil. Okay, easy to trim stuff after. So we fold that over. You can see it is a bit too long, but that's fine. And we're going to let this come out a little bit back beyond the tail. So this is tan foam in 2 mil, and if it was going any bigger, you'd probably be looking for 3 mil. Let's give it a couple of loose wraps first with the thread, and then start to tighten down, because you're basically tightening the thread on top of thread here at this stage. Okay, and then we're trying to get some thread in here to kind of lock it in place. Just move that out of the way, and I just add a tiny drop of super glue there. I only want to add the super glue. I just move this underneath because I only want to add it in here, because if I put the super glue up around on the foam, it'll turn white, the fly won't look very nice, so I don't like that. So literally just a tiny drop underneath on the thread, and hopefully everything will work out, that will keep that in place there. Okay, so there's a natural bit of a curve on this hook that we want to make use of. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pretty big dubbing loop, or what you can do is you can split the thread, so it's up to you. Split the thread, just flatten it out here. So I'll just run the needle on it to help flatten it. Sometimes you have to spin it clockwise or anti-clockwise just to loosen it. And then this needle, I've taken a tiny bit of the point off so I can actually stick it into my finger. Makes it marginally more difficult to split the thread, but what it does is I don't stick a needle in through my finger when I'm doing that, so it's fine against. The dubbing I'm using is just a dubbing I mixed myself, so it's a white dubbing with some pearl and some UV blue through it. But you know, any sort of a saltwater dubbing will do. Obviously a kind of a white colour is better for bait fish belly. Let's add another bit here, and one more bit. Might as well make sure we've enough. So add that in like so, and then we're just going to spin the thread. So, you get the idea. And then we're just going to dub that on. Okay. So, a little bit too much, so let's take out that bit. No. Let's take out this stuff. Okay, and all you need to do then is push that down and pull this over, like so. And then again, start with loose turns first behind the eye. Try and keep this kind of fairly centered if you can. This fly seems to work very well as a sort of a fleeing shrimp as well. And a couple of turns in front. I'm just gonna keep everything out of the way. Get my half hitch tool, or sorry, my whip finish tool. Just whip finish off there, like so. My scissors. You could add rubber legs and things, but you don't really need to with this fly. If you want, you can just tidy up the underneath with your Velcro brush a bit. Now again, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to add, if there's anything there that's sticking out in the way that shouldn't be there, you can just trim it off, but there's not much there. Let's get your super glue again. Be careful not to get it in the eye of the hook. Just put it on the underneath there, like so. And I straighten up this vice here. A few stray fibers, not much to worry about. Okay, and then we're going to cut this one slightly shorter than the other one, and that kind of helps give it a bit of support. And then what I'm going to do, just on the whippings on top, just where the thread wraps are, I'm going to add a tiny bit of UV resin. Okay, so just a very small amount, and I want to just get it in here. You could use the needle for this if you want, so just if you feel that the needle will get it in better, but I think that's fine. I'm just going to give that a shot of the UV torch. And that's just again, just to protect those thread wraps. If you feel that this is too big, you can trim it back a fraction. It's easier, as I say, to trim these back after. And again, if you want, you can round the corners a tiny bit, like so. Some people like to do that. And there's your finished Gurgler. I just call it a Flashtail Gurgler, and there's a lot more movement in just using the flash over the top of the bucktail. I find it's been, as I say, it's been working really well.